That show, Tay Holmes. Yeah, it is terrifying. It is terrifying. First season that was. But the first episode of this season was pretty spot on and deals kind of with what's going on in entertainment right now, which I found to be good because people need to understand that. Vanessa Ramos, I love you too. I really can't wait. I can't wait to watch Oppenheimer. I've heard very good things about that. My favorite color, I don't know what my favorite color is. Probably, it kind of changes, but I'm into neons. I like hot pink, hot blue, hot yellow, hot green. I'm just an 80s child. Am I going to be attending Fan Expo in Toronto if the strike is still on? Right now, I had some press that was actually potentially going to take me out of going, but I can't do that press now because of the strike. So I don't know. Stay tuned on Toronto. As of right now, for any and all of you out there, as of right now, my schedule, I'm supposed to go to Manchester for a convention coming up soon, and then the next week I'm in Boston. The next weekend I'm in Boston for a convention, and the next weekend after that I'm in Chicago for a convention. I'm still planning on attending these conventions, as I stated on Twitter earlier today, I think. As far as I know, and I've got it on good authority, that from a convention standpoint, it's really the promotional publicity conventions, a la San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, things where the studio or the network would be bringing us actors in to go promote a current project. Those are the ones that are definitely off the table. But a traditional fan convention, the Fan Expos, the Fan X in Salt Lake, Reed Pop, anything that is a traditional fan convention, those should still all be kosher. I'm still making sure of this. I have no intention of crossing any picket lines, but also on the same token, on the other side of that coin, I don't know what metaphor or I was going for, but as I stated on Twitter, it is very short-sighted if our SAG leadership doesn't understand that going to a convention, an actor going to a fan convention, has nothing to do with the studios. We go representing our body of work. I'm not going to any of these conventions because I'm promoting Shazam, or I'm promoting Chuck, or I'm promoting anything else for that matter. I'm going to have interactions with you guys. I'm going to have that special, like that time where if you're an actor on Broadway, you get to interact with your audience in real time. You share that love in that real time, in that space. But if you're doing television and film, the only way to close that loop and to really be in contact with and connection with your fan base, I find, is to go and do conventions. And it's a great supplementary source of income for actors all across the board, voice actors, live action actors, stunt actors, personalities in general. It's been for decades a great place to engage with your fan base and get a supplementary form of income. One that has become even more important right now because actors are striking those particular works, the actual work. So the logic to me should be, we shouldn't be doing anything. We should do everything we can to make sure that the studios are not benefiting in this time. We are galvanizing and we are saying, no, you're not going to get more right now. That's why we're striking. That's why we're not going to go write for you, and that's why we're not going to go act for you right now. But there are a lot of these little categories that, like these conventions, fan conventions, me or anyone else appearing at a fan convention has nothing to do with the studio. The studio is not benefiting at all. They don't get a cut of any of it. It is solely for the fans and for the actors and the performers. So, that's my 2 cents on that. I am trying to get messages to Fran Drescher and the leadership at SAG-AFTRA to make sure they understand that they should not be penalizing performers in this time simply because they haven't really done the math on how these conventions work. Because I can assure you, that's how they work. These are not promotional for the studios. These are all previous work and us being able to go and interact with our fan base in a really wonderful way. So there's that as far as the conventions is concerned. And then as far as podcasts, I also do not fully understand why one, as of right now, again, the wordage I'm not entirely sure on, but that one couldn't go and do, for example, like I want to do a Chuck rewatch podcast. I've been trying to do it for a while. I was planning on actually going and doing it next month. But obviously I'm not trying to be a scab. I'm not trying to cross a line. But I need to understand why me going and doing a rewatch podcast about a show that went off the air over 10 years ago is somehow going to be benefiting the studio. I did see someone on Twitter, they made a valid point of, well, what if by doing the podcast, you're driving viewership for, those episodes on whatever the streamer is. Listen, I get that. I understand that. I don't believe that most of the people who are going to be listening to whatever, let's say just the Chuck Rewatch podcast, I don't think most of those people that will watch that don't already have subscriptions to these streamers, particularly for the shows that they like. So you would already have a subscription to Max or Amazon or wherever, Chuck is viewable. So if you're already subscribed to the streamer, then they're not making money on the extra view and the extra view. That's just not how that works. If you don't have that streaming account, and now you love the podcast so much that now you're going to go sign up to go get that account, that would be that podcast leading to an account, sign up sale or whatever. But I think that would be very, very, very few and far between. I do not believe that is somehow going to manifest in all of these, us talking about old shows is somehow going to manifest in all of a sudden these streamers making millions and millions and millions and millions of more dollars because somebody who was already a fan, who probably already had the account, is listening to or watching this podcast. That's my 2 cents on all that. Like I said, I'm going to try and get to the bottom of it. I'm trying to make the best and wisest decisions always that I can. Supporting my fellow actors, supporting my fellow writers, and, fighting for what's right. Anybody, if you followed me for any amount of time, that's what I'm about. Even when I put my foot in my mouth, even when I say things that are very true but unpopular, it's because I'm fighting for what I believe is right in this world. And I think right now, to link arms with my fellow artists and to strike against the powers that be, some of which are wonderful people. Many of them are not. Which is not to say that they are evil, but they are captured in their evil cycle. They are captured in their selfish, greedy infrastructure of the way that they want this industry to work. And they're not doing enough about it. They're not actually being fair and looking at the way the money all gets cut up and shared and going, hey, y'all, if we paid them all more then, and we're making more money now than we made then why can't we pay them what we used to pay these people? Why can't we give them those residuals? And it's because of just fucking greed. I don't know how else to put it, but that's what it is. They want more money. Every industry, the heads of every industry, they get lost in this same very sad cycle. More money, more money, more money, more money, more money, more money, more money. And it's killing the world. It's killing all of our jobs. It's killing our communities. It's killing our earth, because nothing's more important than making more money. So that's all that. Hello, Australia! Best of luck with the strike. Thank you. I appreciate that. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how all this all shakes out, I want it to be I hope that now that SAG has joined the fight, it's going to be quick or quicker. I hope that this resolves quicker. I hope that the studios recognize that we mean business, and we're going to hold out as long as possible, because this is not okay. Any advice for somebody who wants to become an actor? You always want to be an actor. Listen, my advice for anyone who wants to become an actor, and really my advice, it's the same advice I would give anybody for wanting to become anything, which is go to therapy. go and work on yourself. Go be the best version of you, because the best version of you is going to ultimately be the best actor, the best writer, the best director, the best sandwich artist, the best manager, the best COO. I don't know. Pick your job. The best you is best at that job. So that would be my biggest piece of advice. And then beyond that, go find a great acting class, great acting workshop where you're working with a great acting coach, acting teacher who brings in casting directors or managers or people for a showcase that has a legitimate showcase, because you can be the most talented person in the world, but if nobody ever sees that talent, it's going to be tough to go and succeed. So try and set yourself up to keep working on your talent and for that talent to be seen. And there are some legitimate acting workshops, acting coaches out there that have legitimate showcases. So yeah, look into that. Green Lantern, yeah, Nathan Fillion is Green Lantern. Well, he's a version of Green Lantern. I'm so excited for him. It's really cool that we'll be, reintroducing that into the whole world of DC. Wow, these messages are coming fast, so excuse me. Have I ever done staged theater? Yes, I've done Broadway. Oh, I grew up doing lots and lots of theater. And then I have done Broadway a couple of times, and I intend to go and do more at some point. I don't know when, I don't know how, or what the show's going to be, but I'd love to. All right, same question as I have one. Chuck movie, still working on the Chuck movie. Tweeted that earlier. This podcast, the idea was to kind of use it as a way to really get everybody activated, all the Chucksters around the world, get you guys activated, get the data behind it so I can bring that to the execs over at Warner Brothers and say, hey, look at this audience. They really want a Chuck movie. Let's bring them one. So that's still the goal. Return to Hallmark movies. Well, listen, Remember Sunday was a really fun one. I'm really glad I got to do that. And if anybody hasn't checked that out, I highly recommend. It's a really delightful little movie. Me and Alexis Bledel, and some other very talented actors, and we shot it in New Orleans years and years ago, and very proud of that. Have I tried Bluebonnet Pie from Marble Falls yet? No. Is it amazing? It sounds amazing. Everything about that sounds amazing. Greetings from Mexico. Hey, ¿cómo estás? ¿Cómo está usted? Bien? Any more musicals for me? Like I said, I hope so. I mean, I'd like to go back to Broadway and not do a musical for once. I'd like to just do a straight play, be it a comedy or a drama. I just would love to check that off. But yes, eventually getting back to musicals and stuff as well. I would love to do that. Because I love singing. I love it so much. Yes, I'm the Liberty Mutual guy. That's correct. What else? Any other questions? Veo pies. All right. Veo pies. Oh, dumb question. No, it's not a dumb question. Does stage acting count as crossing the picket line? As far as I know, no. That is a completely other union. That is, there's an actors union, actors equity, for stage stuff, and then there's the Screen Actors Guild, SAG-AFTRA, for film and television. So stage is still kicking. All my friends who are in Broadway shows or touring shows are all still doing those shows. So go out, go see them, go support them. By the way, whether we're in a strike or not, go support local theater. Go support local theater, go support touring theater. If you get an opportunity to go to New York and actually see Broadway, go support Broadway. If you get a chance to go to London and see the West End, go support it there. Go support it wherever you can. I mean, that's the beginning of and the basis of all that we do on stage, or on screen anyway. So Twinkies or Ding Dongs, I'm gonna have to go Ding Dongs on that, but really neither. They're horrible for you. Do you remember? Yes, I do remember when I was Kip Stedman. How many of you remember when I was Kip Stedman? That was many, many moons ago, but I loved Less Than Perfect. I loved my time at Less Than Perfect and the family I took from that. who are still my family even now. Andrea Parker, one of my favorite people on the entire planet. All right. Any other questions? Independent films. They are going to make some waivers and some exceptions to some independent films. I don't know how much or exactly how that process is going to go, but that could be something that actors could continue to do during this time, from what I understand. I have not seen The Sound of Freedom yet. I am looking forward to seeing it, though. I've heard it's very powerful. It's a very powerful movie. Yeah, listen, y'all. Definitely worth talking about, because I've seen some really crazy feedback or articles that have been written about The Sound of Freedom, namely that somehow it's like, and again, I haven't seen the movie, but I know the movie is about like real people who are doing real things, saving lives, pulling children out of sex trafficking, human sex trafficking, which is a very real and very nefarious problem in this world. It's one of the biggest problems we have in this world. And yet there are articles being written that are kind of essentially saying this is all trumped up and nonsense and overblown, and this isn't the problem that we have. Y'all, listen, I got no dog in the hunt. I'm not affiliated with that movie at all, but I can assure you that human trafficking and sex trafficking, particularly of minors, of children, is a huge problem. So a movie like Sound of Freedom is not just like, making a mountain out of a molehill. It's a movie that's supposed to be shining a light, showing everybody, hey, this is real. This is really happening. So first and foremost, guard, protect, love your children to ensure that they're not going to somehow get swept up in all of this. But it's a lot of minorities. It's a lot of immigrant children coming to this country that somehow just don't make it to their destination and instead are grabbed and taken into these sex trafficking rings. It's real. So let's not bury our heads in the sand. You don't want to go see the movie. You don't want to go see the movie. That's totally fine. But let's not pretend like what they're talking about is somehow not absolutely happening right now. Like right fucking now. It is happening. And it needs to not happen. It is I can't even think of a worse thing, to be honest. I can't think of a worse thing than adults preying upon, trafficking, raping, selling children left, right, and center. Like, it's the worst possible thing I can think of, honestly. And it needs to be talked about, and it needs to be solved. And that requires shining the light, using movies, television, content to do it, and holding our leaders accountable, because that's what's up. That's what's up. Music on my mind says, how am I doing today? Pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. I am someone who, there's a lot of existential thoughts and questions that I'm always mulling over, as I am wont to do, because I genuinely want to make this world a better place. And so I'm always trying to find ways in which we can do that I can do that I can help other people do that. So, that can kind of put me into those spots a lot. And with this strike and just, assessing my life and my career and what I want to do, there's a lot of that stuff going on, but I feel like I'm in a really blessed place in my life, have been for quite some time. And I try to focus on that and be grateful in that and keep working toward being my best me, So, and I've got this beautiful place that I get to call home that is just so stunning. I mean, look at that. Well, you can't really see the reflection, but anyway. So thank you for asking. I'm well. Just trying to keep figuring out this crazy world, Gabe Logan. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate all that love. And by the way, I feel that too, I definitely do. When I find myself struggling with some darkness or thoughts of like, do I keep fighting for things that I stand for? Do I keep trying to love people, even the ones that hate me? keep fighting for what's right. And I get beat down. I get beat down by a lot of the people on social media who think somehow it's cool or good to bombard my Twitter feed or my DMs with just hate. And it sucks because you're like, wow, like that's a grown ass person. Like I see some of the profiles, like they're grown ass men. Most of them grown ass men. There are women that engage in this behavior too, but mostly men. And it's sad, because I really don't have anything against them. I really don't. I really want everybody to just love each other, and I really want to make the best content, and I want to honor the audience by making the best possible content, and I want to honor the people making the content. That's what the strike is about. We need to honor the people who make the fucking content. We need to pay the artists what they are worth, and they are worth far more than what they are getting right now. So yeah, but all that love that you guys continue to give me, the messages that you're sending me right now and reminding me of that love, it definitely helps carry me through when I'm ready to pack it all up and be like, fuck it, I'm done. I don't need to do this anymore. But yeah, thank you for that.